Hi, I'm Davis.
And I'm Andy.
And welcome to another episode of Game Grazers Discuss. How you doing, Andy?
I'm great, Davis. How about you?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's good. So today's question comes from Gizzmo Gaming. And he asks, so, Final Fantasy 15 is right around the corner. How do you think it will do? And how will it compare to previous releases of Final Fantasy?
This is like stepping into a minefield, isn't it?
It totally is, because I think Final Fantasy is one of those franchises where people have a lot of differing opinions depending upon which generation you come into it from. And I think definitely you and we are members of the older generation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sprite-based, old school, yeah.
So just sort of a baseline, what was your first Final Fantasy?
It was actually Final Fantasy VII, I'll be honest with you. And then I had to go back and then I worked from one up.
All right. So my first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy.
The original. But I was like 8 and I didn't understand it. And then I eventually played Mario RPG. And then I played Final Fantasy IV and I'm like, and two things went click. And I'm like, that's what that old game was. And then I went back and I played it again. And then I played. So I've played almost every major Final Fantasy in some capacity. Until the one you haven't played is 13, right?
I have played 13.
Okay.
I definitely put more time into 13 than I did 8, but those two, 13 and 8, are definitely at the bottom of my pile.
Okay.
So, as an older Final Fantasy fan, it's kind of hard to, like, judge where it's going, especially after 13. I'm so apprehensive after 13 that I'm sort of like...
Well, do you think 14 is kind of a different breed? I mean,
I do. The MMOs are definitely a different breed, and, like... Final Fantasy XIV feels more like a traditional Final Fantasy to me than probably anything after 9. Mm-hmm. 12 might fit in there, but I haven't played enough of 12 to give it a fair shake.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I really focused on 7, then 1 through 6, a little bit of 8, some 9, a bit more of 10. Mm-hmm. I played 13. Tried to start 13 too, and it didn't go so well.
Yeah, so I think 15 has a lot of potential. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen, people are excited about it. And after 13, I feel like Square's really trying to doing a lot of work to gain back trust of their former fans, especially after not only 13, but Final Fantasy 14 1.0. Mm-hmm. And seeing how they regained gamers' trust with 2.0.
Yeah.
I see the potential there with 15, but if I'm honest with myself, nothing about 15 looks appealing to me because it's still, I'll call it magic punk.
As opposed to steampunk.
Yeah. That it's like, oh, look, we've got cars and we're bros and riding around in cars and fighting monsters and saving the day, and it's awesome. I understand it's supposed to be a story about companionship and friendship and things like that, but I have been dying for a true fantasy Final Fantasy since 9. Well, I guess 11 and 14 can count, but I'm talking about like a single player FF experience.
Okay.
So it's Final Fantasy. I'm sure it'll do fine in sales.
Well, I mean, what's fine though? I mean, they need millions and millions, right, to break even.
Yeah,
to sell.
15's sort of become one of those. It's taken forever to come out.
Yes.
And so I think people's expectations are going to be totally, maybe off kilter. You know what I mean?
Like No Man's Sky off kilter.
Yeah. But I mean, I will admit, it feels like they've been playing 15 very close to the chest.
Yes, they have.
They've been very vague about it. They've only released things intermittently, enough to just sort of cock tease you. And I'll admit, the game looks visually it looks fantastic, as I would expect Final Fantasy to do.
I would expect that at any time from them. Yeah.
But and there is the part of me that's like, yeah, I'm kind of excited about shifting away from turn-based battles to a more action RPG like Kingdom Hearts. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I can't recall the last time I just felt so, oh right, Final Fantasy's coming.
Bestill my heart. Yeah, and I guess maybe that has a lot to do with the fact I don't own an Xbox One or a PS4.
But it's going to come out for PC, right?
Eventually, probably.
At some point.
They've been going that way a lot lately.
Yeah, okay. So, but it's not a console seller. You're not going to run out and get your PS4 to play Final Fantasy 15 on.
I think my console seller for at this point is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
Still in Square Enix and still Final Fantasy related, but Kingdom Hearts 3 is finally going to get me to finally bite the bullet.
That's fair enough.
What are your thoughts?
Well, so Final Fantasy's been around forever, and I feel like in a lot of ways, and I think Square Enix corporate people understand this, it's lost its way. I'll be honest with you.
It has.
I really think so. What I went ahead and did is I went the technical route with this, and I was like, okay, who are the individuals making this? And I recall Nomura, who's been involved with Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy IV, and he did a lot of character design for quite a few of the Final Fantasy games after 4. And I thought that was amazing, right? I mean, think of Final Fantasy VI and stuff like that. But Nomura, I believe, was pulled off as director, and they replaced him with Tabata. And so I think that it's undeniable Nomura's performance in the later games, particularly when he made the transition from character design to director. I just feel like in a lot of ways, Final Fantasy lost a little bit for me personally. I don't know how everyone else feels, but it lost a little bit of its soul to me. And I feel like Square Enix said, we got to do something to save 15. It's taking too long. I'm sure they were saying it was costing too much money to develop.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they installed Tabata. I feel like Nomura's hands are still all over this project, and Tabata's been kind of put in place as a little bit of kind of a placeholder almost to kind of try to undo some of those things Nomura has done in the past.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a lot of hope for it. I'll be honest with you. I'm keeping my expectations really low.
Oh, God, I can't remember his name. He was the producer for Final Fantasy 11 and for Final Fantasy 1.0. I want to say Tanaka.
Okay.
And when they made 14 1.0, it was very much a very bad rehash of what Final Fantasy 11 was. Like, they had 11 was kind of at the right place at the right time before WoW came into existence. And they're like, oh, 11's our most profitable game ever, we should just totally rip that off. And then he kind of and that just went poorly. And then they installed Yoshi P. For some reason his full name escapes me at the moment. I just know him as Yoshi P. Yoshi Producers, what the P stands for.
Oh, okay.
Yoshida, Naoki Yoshida, there we go.
There you
go. And he came in and was like, here's all the information you want to know. Here's exactly what we're doing. Here's what we're planning to do it. Like, he was just open communication. Like, because like I said earlier, he came in and was like, we need to get everyone's trust back. And he sort of did that through the remainder of 1.0 before he's like, we're taking it to 2.0. We're going to take it down, rebuild it from the ground up. And then when 2.0 came out, he had regained so much trust that they could not keep the servers up and running. And when he was at a conference and he broke down crying because of all the problems, like, one of the major community players like got a book of comments from players like, we love what you've made. This is fantastic. Thank you for reinvigorating our hopes in this game. And I kind of feel that's what 15 needs to do.
Yeah.
After 13, they have to have the saving grace. I feel like 15's not the last chance, but if 15 fails and 16 fails, Final Fantasy may really be over.
The Final Fantasy.
That's just kind of the way I view it. Anyway, Gizmo, that was a fantastic question.
Yeah, thank you.
I could talk for hours about Final Fantasy.
Yes.
But unfortunately, time is wrapping up and we've got Let's Plays to record. So if you have questions of your own, please send them in to GameGrazers.com/discuss. And if you want to share your thoughts about this question in comments or on Twitter or however you'd like, we would love to hear them. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Davis.
And we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Ciao.